As a preschool teacher, you're able to interact with children who are so young that they're not yet at that developmental level where they even have the idea of drawing objectively or painting objectively or doing any kind of objective art. You know, I'm teaching toddlers right now. They're really, really small. They're really, really young. Their minds are just full of wonder. And I feel like what I'm trying to do in my own work is to reconnect to that child mind, to that filterless, wondrous, just imagination-filled, endless connection to the creative flow. I feel like children have this amazing connection to the creative flow, which unfortunately in society, you know, as you get older, it can really get stamped out. And you know, being around that kind of amazing energy, it has to be something that is, you know, absorbed and then reformed in my own work. And you know, again, it goes back to that belief of mine that like everything that I'm experiencing in some way is recorded within me and then comes out in its own way in, you know, mysterious unfolding.
When you first meet Nora, she's like her art in a way. There's like something airy and mystical going on. But once you talk to her about her work, you realize she's very, very grounded in what she's doing, in her sense of self, in her own intellectual strengths.
When I create art, I'm really just focused and sort of tunnel vision and sort of really just engage with what I'm doing. And I often feel very separate from the world. And then, you know, then I'm engaging with the world when I'm not creating art, and I feel very engaged with the world. So, you know, there is sort of an interior-exterior interplay, which, you know, I think maybe does have a connection to my childhood and to, you know, how I was raised, that there's a sort of desire to engage but also to separate, and there's a need sometimes to engage and there's a need to, you know, to separate sometimes.
Nora does subscribe to that spiritual, airy idea of marking the canvas and the colors that she chooses and the shapes that she makes, and her entire process is very much based on being in that in-between spiritual state. Placed within an art history context, it's not new, her way of thinking. A lot of the abstract painters and the abstract movement actually claimed a sense of spirituality or mysticism into their work. There were two strains at that time during the abstract expressionist movement. One was more of an intellectual strain, the other one was more of a spiritual or mystic, almost anti-intellectual strain. And the spiritual side kind of fell out of favor. It became unpopular, and really what most people learn about is the more intellectual strain, where it becomes about the paint and about the process and about the movement, but it does not have any connection to a sense of spirituality.
When I think about my religious upbringing, it all is part of my process in the unconscious. It's all part of my internal record, and so, you know, when I think about my work, it's this sort of dual experience of it being me and it being something greater than myself. And so, you know, those experiences that I had growing up, or my formative years, or high school, or, you know, all of those experiences, they're all part of it in some way. I know that, and I feel that, you know, in the deepest part of, you know, myself. How exactly those experiences connect, that really isn't what I'm interested in.